Hello, everyone. I'm John Higgins, contributing writer to Film and TV Now, and I'm delighted to welcome one and all to this interview special with filmmaker Julia Varvara, whose short film Suppression has been making waves on the festival circuit in recent months. It's the tale of a seemingly straightforward evaluation between a psychologist and a criminal psychotic, which turns into something much darker for the former when he tries to get to the bottom of the crime committed. Julia, a warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much, John.
I saw this a few months ago, and I actually saw it again recently just to sort of get in the mood for our interview. I mean, what makes this film so interesting is that it's always a sense that the main character is in control, but then finds himself challenged. So, what was the start-off point for this short?
So the startup was that I was looking for a script to direct my directorial debut. And I've looked at Adam Morse, who wrote the script and who acted as Max, one of the lead characters. I looked at him and I said, you could really do like a good convict in a film. And he's like, ha ha ha. And I was like, I'm serious. Let's just write some prison drama and I'll direct it and you'll act in it. And he's like, well, actually, funnily enough, I have the script I written 7 years ago. It's prison drama. So he pulled it out of his computer. I read it and we did some changes. And I said, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to direct. You're going to act. We'll produce it and let's do it. And that's how we did it. But obviously, I fell in love with the script because it's not just the script about the convict. It's more, for me as a filmmaker, I have to have a strong message in every story I direct. And with Suppression, it's a very important message of mental health and how unhealthy to store negative emotions inside you. And if you don't share, and don't communicate with other people and continue storing, it could explode in the most ugly way, which it did. But I think for a good purpose for our doctor, because, it kind of relieved him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my next question was actually going to be, how did you and Adam Morse first meet? But you've answered that. But let's talk a little bit about the other two members of your cast, the couple, because they really are I mean, the female character is the wife is absolutely, although she doesn't say much, she's actually a pivotal role. I mean, she's
Absolutely.
kind of like the thing. And so tell us about them.
So the background story and characters that they both lost their son. And wife is depressed and she's mourning, and she actually is looking for a partner in this trauma, to be with her on the same journey and support her. And the way character of John grieves is completely different. His way to show I'm strong one, he's all shut down. He doesn't show any emotions, and she feels lonely in this situation. And although he is, of course, very traumatized and there's a lot of guilt inside of him. Well, I gave a very big pre-story to the characters so they can really like deep dive and have the good grounds to deliver the parts. And he blames himself basically in the death of his son, although it's not his fault. And basically they had argument with the son, and the next day he was found dead, overdosed. So he blames himself that he didn't handle it well. And the story for the wife, I gave her that she found a drug. She came to him expecting that the husband, the dad, will speak to the boy, but instead of having a conversation, it was like a fight. And he said, well, you should never get out of this house then if you're gonna be doing drugs. And then he leaves. And the next day he found dead, so he's feeling guilty. He can't even look into his wife's eyes. Wife feeling all alone and not understanding why he's not showing any remorse of what's going on. So yeah, it's deep and complicated.
But what I wanted to ask you was the actual actors. Tell them where did you find them? Did you audition them? Did you cast them? I mean,
all
where
right.
did you find them? That's what I meant to ask. That's what I meant to say. So.
Oh, sorry. Well, I gave you a massive story, gave away half plot, but it's okay.
It's okay.
So actually, in my mind, I envisioned Doctor being black, and I kind of had a visual. I didn't know Gary Beadle by then yet. And neither I knew Reina, but I had a strong vision how I wanted Gary, the character of Dr. John to look. And we just did a broadcast. It was during the a pandemic, so it was not like a proper casting. We just did like wrote a message looking for this type of actor for this kind of role, and blasted to all the friends on WhatsApp. And actually, there's a funny story about that one. Because Adam, who is playing Max and who wrote the story and acted in it, he did the message, and he usually uses Siri because he's registered blind, to dictate his message. And basically, Siri picked up exciting new funeral director instead of female director. And everybody's like, are you okay? What's going on? It's like during the pandemic, they're looking for exciting new female, funeral director. So yeah, that was ridiculous. When I saw the message, it already went to 200 people. I was like, Adam, did you see what you sent to people? It was hilarious. So yeah, when I saw, so people were suggesting different actors. And when I saw a picture of Gary, I didn't even need to audition him. I just knew it's him, you know. I just that's him. I could see, and we had a very good pool of very great talent, I have to say, being suggested to us and connected with. And with Reina, we did audition. It was actually quite difficult to find, a good Black actress, because obviously I wanted to couple, be synergetic and look good on screen together. And yeah, I was blessed. Again, it turns out Reina was represented by the same agent that Adam was, so it's like kind of from the agency she came in, and it's like I saw her audition, and I was like, yeah, that's her as well. She nailed it.
Okay, so obviously mental health is big news at the moment. I mean, where do you feel that this film can help others to express their own conflicts and emotions?
Well, where to take the message from the film, how important is it not to be alone, not to shut down, and to share, to talk to people, look for help if you need help, to communicate, because so many things could be, sorted if you just speak to each other. So communication is the key, and not storing negative emotions.
Okay. So you're originally from Ukraine. I mean, obviously there's a lot going on at the moment. And my thoughts are with you and your family and friends from Ukraine. So how is the current status quo there affecting your own emotional well-being? I mean, are you planning to do any projects that highlight the the key issues that are affecting the country at the moment?
Right now, no, I think because it's so personal, and I have enough of it in my personal life. I don't want to also put my work into it. You know what I mean? It was terrifying. I remember waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. My friend texted me and said the war started. I'm putting TV on. I see the sirens. I was shaking. I couldn't believe it. And nobody actually expected in Ukraine that it's going to happen. I spoke to my brother, because now he's actually can't leave the country. It's illegal in his age, like between 18 to 65. If you're a man, you can't leave the country. And if I knew, I would have obviously make sure that he wasn't in the country at the right time, because I'm against war. I'm against fighting. I'm all pro peace. And Jesus Christ, these days, if we can communicate and sort problems with our minds, why are we still fighting? It's just, it's bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
Okay. Well, I'll that's a good enough answer. I think I'll leave it at that for the moment, because we want to carry on talking about the movie. I mean, just talking a bit about your own personal development as a filmmaker. I mean, who and what are your key cinematic influences?
Oh, that's a main question. So I have three favorite directors: Chris Nolan, Woody Allen, and Guillermo del Toro, and they're all completely different, and they all bring completely different things to the audience. So Chris Nolan, he messes with your mind and creates alternative reality inside of the real reality. Woody Allen is just nobody like him, because he also writes his scripts, and I think just his dialogues and the relationship of his characters are brilliant. And Guillermo is just visually, for me, is outstanding director, because everything what he does, from starting from the production design, finishing to the color grade of the film, it's just a piece of art. I always feel like so inspired by everything what he does. He's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit that the Guillermo del Toro, I mean, I've watched him since The Devil's Backbone, which was a stunning movie.
Wow.
So for 20 years, and I think we all knew that he was such a visionary. Christopher Nolan, of course, with The Dark Knight, and Woody Allen, who I think, you know, he's a genre in himself. You know, you know, you don't have a
100%.
whenever you think of you don't think of a horror film, or you just think of a Woody Allen movie, and that's it. So moving on, what issues and themes are you keen to explore in future work?
Hmm. Well, I like to explore themes between fight between good and evil, and what is really right or seems right on paper, but really so wrong, and what's hiding behind. So I'm a big fan of a film Law Abiding Citizen with Jared Butler. I like, the themes are touched there. So ideally for me, I would like to direct next a feature that will be a thriller and in kind of that kind of area like Law Abiding Citizen. So if anybody have that kind of script, text me.
Okay, that's fine. So obviously, you know, I've seen the film. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I have to admit that we did sort of reveal a bit of it in earlier on in your earlier answer, but let's say, you know, just but go and see the film anyway. How can people watch this short film at present?
So we have a screening next month, July, at Rich Mix Cinema in Shoreditch at 6 o'clock in the evening, PM. If you have free time, come and see it. And obviously, we're still in festival circuit. So I will be posting on my Instagram like new updates all the time. We just got back from US. I think you reviewed actually our film when we were at the Holly Shorts Film Festival.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yes, it was brilliant. Like for me, it's very important. I'm not award driven. For me, as long as the audience enjoys the performance and walks away, with thought in their head about the message of the film, that's all I care about. And I think it worked because I've heard great feedback from people I completely don't know, just reaching out of blue and saying how the film touched them, and that's what really
Hmm.
matters for me as a filmmaker.
Okay. And just recap, where did you say that screening is next week?
It's at Shoreditch, Rich Mix Cinema.
Rich Mix Cinema. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
July 5,
Mhm.
6 o'clock.
Okay, great. Well, you've answered the festival experience, which I think is really good because you know the film generated a lot of things. I mean, as I say, I did a thing about Holly Short, so it's quite cool. I'm going to leave you with one final question, which is, what are you most proud of about this short film?
What am I most proud? I'm most proud of the fact that my lead actor is legally blind and he acted and, he played a character fully sighted. I think it's because that was for me also one of the reason why I wanted to make this film, just to show Adam's talent and, to kind of kill the stigma. If you're blind, you have to play a blind character. If you're deaf, you have to play a deaf character. No, if you're an actor and you know that you can, deliver any performance you think you can, then you can, and nobody shouldn't stop you and put you in a box.
Hmm. Well, Julia, thank you so much for your time. I mean, I have to incline to agree. If you watch Adam Morse in this film, he's absolutely dynamite. You wouldn't even believe that he is a blind actor because he's absolutely fantastic in it anyway. And, you know, I mean, Stevie Wonder did it in music and Ray Charles, so why not in film? So that's good. So thank you for your time. As mentioned, Suppression has got a screening in Shoreditch soon, and it's well worth a look anyway, and a film designed to change perceptions of human nature. Just to wrap up, you can see this interview and replays of others on my official YouTube channel, John Higgins Film Review. And for more articles, interviews, and reviews, you can go to www.filmandtvnow.com and also check out my new film resource website, which we launched in 2022, which is whatmovie.co.uk. So, Julia, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John. It was a pleasure, an honor.